Say this to any woman, and she'll be instantly attracted to you. Psychology tricks. Love is not finding someone to live with, it's finding someone you can't live without. Rafael Ortiz. Gentlemen, here's something you need to know. For years, most men have been trying to crack the code to what makes women feel that magnetic pull. They try everything, buying expensive gifts, sending long messages, doing all they can to win her attention. Some even spend months or even years chasing after her. Yet, there's something they don't realize. A single sentence from the right man can bypass all of her defenses and ignite something deep inside her, faster than months of effort could ever do. Women have done things that might surprise you. They've stalked social media profiles, stayed up until 2 a.m. staring at their phone screens, or even begged to see a man again. Not because of his looks or his wealth, but because of the words he spoke. Just one well-timed phrase from the right man, and suddenly, she's hooked. She finds herself replaying that moment, caught in the rush of emotions he sparked. Most men make a crucial mistake. They talk too much. They overdo it. They come across as needy or desperate. This is why women often don't feel the same way. But the man who understands the power of words, the man who speaks with purpose, can shift everything. His words don't just fill the air, they change how she feels. They make her feel exposed, desired, even vulnerable in ways she never expected. And here's where it gets interesting. Certain phrases hold so much power, they shift the dynamics completely. One simple sentence can make her question everything about how she views you and make her crave you more than any other man. Another phrase will have her competing with other women without her even realizing it. But it's one phrase, one you might be scared to say, that will make her respect you forever. The final one? It's not about her at all, and that's exactly why it'll drive her wild. I've felt it. My friends talk about it. And if you stick with me to the end, you'll know exactly what to say to unlock that irresistible power. Especially the one phrase that scares most men to say. Number 8 is the one that will make her unable to resist you. Let's dive in and see how you can harness this power. Phrase 1. The frame flip. Let me give it to you straight. In life, you will face tests, most of them from the world around you, but many from women. The truth is, women test men. They push buttons. They create drama. They pull away. They provoke. They play hot and cold, trying to provoke a reaction, testing your resolve. They do this not out of malice, but out of instinct. It's a natural process. The question is, how do you respond? Most men fail this test. They react. They apologize. They explain. They chase. They try to fix it. The moment you do that, your frame collapses. You lose your power. Attraction fades. But not the man with the iron mind. Not the man who understands the old Stoic wisdom. When you don't react emotionally, when you refuse to engage in the drama, when you remain calm, unbothered, and unmoved, you flip the frame. You win. Let me tell you, this is a victory of the highest order. Women lose their power when they realize you cannot be manipulated. The moment you refuse to play their games, their tricks lose their sting. They become exposed. They become vulnerable. I've seen this before. I've been the one doing the testing, pulling away, trying to provoke a reaction. And I've seen men crumble under pressure, explaining themselves, apologizing, pleading for validation. But there was one man who stood out. When I threw everything at him, he looked me dead in the eye, without a flicker of doubt, and said, "That doesn't work on me." In that moment, I was the one tested. His calmness shook me. His iron resolve made me question everything. It wasn't just that he was unshaken, he was untouchable. And that, my friend, is the power you must master. Stoicism is your weapon. An iron mind is your shield. The more you remain unshaken in the face of tests and trials, the more you will conquer life's challenges. This is not just about dealing with women. This is how you handle life. Women will test you, but life will test you even more. The obstacles, the struggles, the challenges, they will all come. But remember, as the old Stoic wisdom teaches, adversity is not a threat, it's an opportunity to grow. You must rise above it. You must never bend to the whims of others. Stoicism wins every time because it teaches you to control your reactions. And that control? That's where your power lies. Keep your mind sharp, your emotions steady, and your frame unbreakable. Life won't be able to touch you. You'll be untouchable. That is true power. And you will be unstoppable. Phrase 2. I don't chase what isn't mine. The phrase, I don't chase what isn't mine, is not just words. It's a psychological bombshell. Do you realize just how brutal that is for a woman to hear? It doesn't just sting, it strikes deep. It cuts straight through her ego, shakes her sense of security, and demands immediate self reflection. You see, women are used to being pursued, admired, and sought after. So when a man drops that line, it does something to her. Suddenly, she's not the confident, composed woman she was a moment ago. No, she's insecure. She's questioning herself. Wait, am I his? Why isn't he chasing me? How do I get his attention? This is the power of psychology tricks at play. The key is in the action behind the words. When you tell a woman, I don't chase what isn't mine, you instantly flip the script. She's used to the chase. She's been the object of attention for so long that when a man stands his ground and walks away, it sparks a primal desire in her. You must understand this. A man who can walk away, who doesn't need validation from her or anyone else, is the man she desperately wants to follow. Why? Because it creates tension, but not the kind she's used to. It's a tension that pulls her in, makes her think deeply, and forces her to fight for your attention in a way that's completely outside her normal playbook. And here's the truth you need to understand. The moment you detach yourself, you step into a place of power. The power dynamic shifts. When you stop chasing, you stop being predictable, and that, my friend, is what drives women crazy. Women naturally want to be pursued, but the man who doesn't chase is one that forces her to reevaluate everything. That's how you play into female psychology, by becoming scarce, valuable, and intriguing. It's the ultimate form of attraction. Now, let's take it further. If you think this phrase was powerful, hold onto your seat. There's a second phrase that's even more potent. It doesn't just create tension, it flips every power game women use against you. You must learn this. In any relationship, it's not about playing by her rules. It's about knowing when to play your own game, understanding how to fall in love with the right timing and the right words. And the best part? You're not doing this out of manipulation. It's the result of psychology tricks that play into your masculinity. You're owning your energy, and that makes you the high-value man that every woman craves. Remember this. Women are drawn to men who can walk away. They're attracted to those who stand firm in their beliefs, who don't need validation or constant reassurance. When you understand this, you've unlocked the core of female psychology. You've figured out that it's not about chasing, it's about owning your space and making her crave yours. That's power. If you found this insight valuable, hit the like button, drop a comment below, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful wisdom. Comment the phrase to remember. The man who can walk away is the one she wants to follow. Phrase 3. The pullaway line. Here's a powerful psychological trick that will completely shift the dynamics between you and the women you're interested in. The pullaway line. Let you in on a little secret that women would never want to admit. Nothing, and I mean nothing, sends a woman into a state of panic like a man who doesn't chase after her when expected. Oh, we've all been there, haven't we? We wait for that message, that call, that reaction when we pull away, texts ignored, responses delayed, even hours of silence. What happens next? We get the frantic double text or an anxious call wondering what went wrong. But here's where most men make a huge mistake. They fall into the trap. Their minds spiral, thinking they've done something wrong. Is she mad? Did I say something stupid? What if I lost her? But here's the thing that most men don't realize. The moment you stop chasing, everything changes. I've been on the receiving end of this before, and let me tell you, the result was not what I expected. There was a man who, when I pulled back, didn't panic. He didn't chase me down or beg me to come back. No, he leaned back too. He showed me that calm, grounded confidence that only a high-value man can pull off. His words hit me like a cold shower. I think you need space. I'll let you take it. And that completely shifted everything for me. My stomach dropped, my mind raced, and suddenly, I was no longer the one in control. I wasn't the one calling the shots anymore. My ego, which had been fed by the chase, crumbled in that moment. I realized that I was the one now trying to figure out what just happened. Do you see the magic in this? A high-value man knows exactly what to do. Instead of bending over backward to attract women or succumbing to the pressure of chasing, he stands firm in his masculine energy. He doesn't need to beg for attention. He doesn't need constant reassurance. His silence, his pullback, speaks volumes about his value and his control over himself. And let me tell you, that makes him irresistible. It creates an imbalance in the power dynamic where now she's wondering why he's not chasing her anymore. She's forced to chase you, not the other way around. That's how you attract women, by being so grounded in your own masculine energy that you don't chase after anyone. Be the man who knows his worth. Don't settle for anything less than a woman who respects that. And always remember, it's the pull-away line that puts you in the driver's seat of attraction. Phrase 4. The desire without dependence. Let me share a truth with you, one that might be a little embarrassing, but is too important to ignore. Women don't want men who don't want them, but we also don't want men who need us. It's a brutal truth, but it's one that governs the female psyche in ways many men don't understand. Men who show desire without dependence, those are the men who haunt us. The ones who manage to capture our attention and keep it long after the initial encounter. So, what does that mean for you? Imagine this. I'm sitting across from a man I find attractive, fully expecting the usual game, flattering words, a sprinkle of validation, soft compliments designed to boost my ego. But this man? He did none of that. Instead, he leaned back in his chair, exuding quiet confidence, and said something that sent a jolt through me. I want you, but I don't need you. That statement hit me harder than I could have expected. You must understand why this works. Desire without dependence is the secret that drives female psychology. When a man expresses interest, but shows no need for validation, it flips the power dynamic. In that moment, my body reacted before my mind could even process what was happening. My pulse quickened, my breath became shallow, and my skin flushed. Why? Because I realized something deep and terrifying. This man wanted me, yes, but he could walk away without missing a beat. That's the essence of how to fall in love with someone. It's not about how much you want them. It's about whether you can walk away without them losing their sense of self. Men who need us are predictable and ultimately disposable. We know what to expect from them. They are too eager, too dependent on our validation. They chase us with the desperation of someone afraid of losing the chance to be loved. And that, ironically, makes them forgettable. But men who can desire us without needing us, they become an obsession. We can't stop thinking about them. They're unpredictable, fascinating, and unattainable in the best way possible. This kind of psychological power isn't a game. It's a key to understanding female psychology. If you want to truly capture a woman's attention, stop relying on the usual tactics. Don't beg for her affection or constantly seek her approval. Instead, become the man who stands in his own strength, someone who wants her, but doesn't need her. Remember, the ability to show desire without dependence is one of the most profound psychology tricks you can use to get a woman's attention and keep it. When you stand grounded in your masculine energy, without the fear of losing her, you suddenly become someone she can't stop thinking about. Be that man. Let her chase you for once, not the other way around. If this resonated with you, don't just sit back, take action. Like, comment below and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And make sure to subscribe for more valuable insights. Comment with, "Desire without dependence creates obsession." Let's start a conversation about what really attracts women. Phrase 5. The Scarcity Trigger. There's a truth that's harsh yet undeniable. Women are wired to respond to scarcity, not abundance. This isn't a matter of good or evil, but pure psychology. When you pour constant attention, validation, and instant replies into a woman's life, you set a trap for yourself. She grows bored. She starts to lose interest. The connection fades. Why? Because people don't value what comes too easily. It's human nature. The scarcity trigger is what drives obsession and desire. Take a moment to reflect on the words of a man who knew this all too well. My attention isn't free. You have to earn it. When he said that to me, there was no arrogance, no desperation. There was quiet power. His words were a challenge, a test of my worth. And do you know what happened next? My ego flared, but my desire was ignited. I suddenly wanted to win, to compete, to earn his attention. This isn't about games. This is about mastering human psychology. This is where Stoicism, Old Stoic wisdom, and an iron mind come into play. Men who know their value, who refuse to give attention freely, become irresistible. They become priceless. Let's talk about this in terms of modern life. We live in a world where instant gratification is at your fingertips. Messages, likes, notifications, they all come flooding in, and they do nothing but diminish value. The key to mastering attraction is controlling your attention. Be selective with it. Don't chase. Don't beg for validation. Make them earn it. The more you withhold your attention, the more they'll crave it. When you ration your energy, you elevate your status. In the words of the Stoics, what we do in life echoes in eternity. That's not just a call to conquer the world. It's a call to conquer your own behavior, your own mind. An iron mind knows that scarcity is power. Scarcity makes you sought after, revered. Scarcity makes you a prize to be won. The more you give freely, the less value you have. Women are naturally drawn to those who are unattainable, those who make them earn their place. Don't flood her with constant messages. Don't chase her with endless attention. Your value comes from your scarcity. Control your energy, control your attention, and watch as the dynamic shifts. That is the power of scarcity. And with it, you will conquer your desires, master your interactions, and become a man of value in the eyes of any woman you choose. The iron mind, backed by Old Stoic wisdom, understands this. So should you. Phrase 6. The throne line. Imagine this. You tell a woman you have options, thinking you're in control, and it's meant to make her chase you. But here's the truth. What really shakes her world is when a man flips the script. You see, women are wired to believe they're the prize, that we're the ones being chased, that we hold the power. It feeds our ego, validates our worth, and helps us maintain control in the game of attraction. But the men who are truly magnetic, the ones who know how to wield their masculine energy like a king on his throne, understand one key thing. They don't need to chase. In fact, they make women feel like it's us who need to earn their attention. That's when women become obsessed. That's when we lose our minds over them. I'll tell you something personal. Once, I tried a little test with a man. I told him, half joking, that I had plenty of options. It was a playful manipulation, a challenge to see how he'd react. Most men would panic. They'd reassure me, get defensive, or prove their worth in some way. That's what I was expecting. But instead, he did something completely unexpected. He leaned back, arms relaxed, eyes steady, and calmly said, "I don't compete for women. Women compete for me." You must understand, this response hit me like a lightning bolt. I felt my entire demeanor shift. My self-assurance crumbled. I realized in that moment that the control I thought I had was nothing compared to the power he exuded. This man wasn't just high value. He embodied the essence of a truly masculine energy. He was a high-value man who understood that his worth wasn't up for debate or negotiation. Women weren't competing for his attention. He was the one who chose, who earned the privilege of being in his presence. That kind of confidence, that kind of belief in his own value, is magnetic. It's a force that no woman can resist, no matter how hard she tries to deny it. So here's the deal. If you want to attract women, you need to stop playing the desperate game of seeking approval. The moment you embrace your role as the prize, the moment you hold yourself as a high-value man, that's when everything changes. Stop competing for attention. Let her know that your presence is earned. When you make her feel like she's the one fighting for you, your masculine energy will do the rest. She'll be hooked. She'll chase you, and you'll have her exactly where you want her, completely captivated by your power and confidence. If you found this valuable, comment below and share it with someone who could benefit from this powerful insight. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on mastering attraction and confidence. Comment to remember, I am a high value man. By embracing your masculine energy and knowing your worth, you'll never need to chase again. Women will be drawn to you, and your power will speak volumes. Phrase 7. The boundary sentence. Let's talk about something women absolutely hate admitting, but it's something we do, and you need to understand why. We push boundaries on purpose. We cancel plans at the last minute. We poke at insecurities, throw little jabs of disrespect, and test your patience. It's not because we enjoy causing trouble or drama, but because we want to know, where's the line? Here's the deal, though. Most men have no boundaries. They tolerate everything. They make excuses for our behavior. They apologize when we disrespect them. And what happens the moment they do that? Respect vanishes. Attraction dies. And curiosity? It's gone. Because if you can't stand up to a woman, how can you stand up to the rest of the world? A woman wants to know that you have a spine, that you won't let anyone walk all over you, including her. The key to female psychology is this: women are constantly testing, even when it feels like we're playing games. We want to see if you're strong enough to handle us. When a man lets us push him, lets us cross the line without any consequences, we lose respect. We start to wonder, can he handle the challenges of life? Can he lead? If the answer is no, that man will quickly fade from our interest. But then, there's the man who stands firm, who draws his line and never wavers. A man with unshakable boundaries, who doesn't tolerate disrespect, who doesn't apologize when he hasn't done anything wrong. This man, he terrifies us. He commands respect. His boundaries are like an invisible wall that keeps us intrigued, captivated, and wanting more. It's like a game where the stakes are high, and the moment you show us you won't let us cross the line, we become obsessed. It's not about being harsh or rude. It's about knowing your worth. It's about showing that you are a high-value man who deserves respect. You must make it clear that you won't settle for less than what you deserve. The moment you do this, you instantly raise your value in her eyes, and your attraction level skyrockets. It's one of the most effective psychology tricks you can use, and it taps into the very core of how to fall in love with a man. A woman needs to feel that challenge, that feeling of wanting to earn your respect. And when she does, you'll have her full attention. So, here's what you must do. Stop tolerating disrespect. Set clear boundaries. When she crosses them, don't let it slide. Let her know that you won't tolerate behavior that undermines your worth. When you establish yourself as a man with integrity, confidence, and boundaries, your attraction levels will rise like you never imagined. Don't be afraid to show a little strength. You're a high-value man, and that's something that no woman can ignore. Phrase 8. The fear line. There's a powerful truth that many women won't openly admit. The man who intimidates us most is not the one who raises his voice, cheats, or withdraws emotionally. No, the man who strikes fear into our hearts is the one who, with calm confidence, can look us directly in the eyes and say, "I'd rather be alone than with the wrong woman." This statement hits at the core of human psychology, and it carries a weight that resonates with ancient wisdom. It's not about arrogance or manipulation. It's about a man who has developed an iron mind, a man who embodies self-reliance and fearlessness. The key here is confidence, and it's rooted in a principle older than civilization itself, Stoicism. Stoic wisdom teaches us that true power comes not from what you possess, but from your ability to remain unmoved by external forces. In modern life, we are constantly bombarded by pressures to conform, to settle, to compromise. Yet, the man who can stand firm in his own values and say, "I'll walk away rather than accept mediocrity," is not just showing strength. He's demonstrating the kind of mental fortitude that wins the game of life. Stoicism wins, and the man who has mastered it doesn't fear being alone because his inner peace is his greatest asset. He knows that being true to himself is far more valuable than being in a relationship for the sake of it. So, let's be clear, you must cultivate this strength. You must develop this mindset that no situation or person can shake. This is where the old Stoic wisdom becomes your foundation. The moment you stop fearing rejection and start valuing your own worth over validation from others, you shift the dynamic. You move from being desperate to being in control. You stop chasing approval and start attracting respect. You gain power by choosing not to settle. This isn't about playing games. It's about being so centered in your own value that you no longer have to chase anyone. Let this sink in. The strongest men, the ones who others respect, don't fear solitude, they embrace it. And in that embrace, they find their power. It's your turn now. Build this iron mind. Look inside yourself and find the courage to say, I would rather be alone than with the wrong person. When you say that with conviction, women will sense it and they won't just respect you, they'll be drawn to you. This is how true power works. You must never settle for less than what you deserve. Remember, Stoicism wins. Your inner peace and strength will guide you through every situation, and they will always make you a magnet for the right people in your life. Stand tall. Be unshakable. You have everything within you to master this. If you find this valuable, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Here's your affirmation. I am a man of strength, self-reliance, and unshakable confidence. Comment that below to remind yourself of the power you hold within. Let's make sure the right people are drawn to you by never settling for less than you deserve. Phrase 9. The emotional mirror. Let me be brutally honest with you. Women are incredibly skilled at playing with emotions. It's an art form. We know exactly when to cry to get sympathy, when to sulk to gain leverage, when to stay quiet to control a situation, and when to turn cold to punish or manipulate. And here's the heartbreaking part. Most men fall right into this trap. The moment a woman starts pulling these emotional strings, most men instinctively rush to fix things. They apologize, explain themselves, comfort her, and try to end the storm that was never real in the first place. And that's exactly where they lose. The moment you give in to this emotional manipulation, you've handed over your power. Why? Because the second she controls your emotions, she controls you. But here's the thing, the high-value man doesn't fall for this. The high-value man doesn't absorb her emotional chaos. He doesn't apologize when he hasn't done anything wrong. He doesn't try to fix her emotional tantrums. Instead, he mirrors her emotions. And that man, my friend, is dangerous. Let me give you an example of how this works. I once tried to manipulate a man with my usual emotional tricks, sharp words, defensiveness, playing cold and distant. My goal? To make him feel guilty, to make him comfort me, and to make him apologize for something I created. I thought I had him cornered, expecting him to respond with softness, tenderness, to fix the storm I'd created. But instead, he simply looked at me with a calm, almost amused half smile, and said, "You feel cornered right now, don't you?" Do you know what that did to me? My whole act collapsed in an instant. I was stunned. I wasn't expecting that response at all. Instead of engaging with my emotional manipulation, instead of giving me the reaction I was fishing for, he mirrored my emotions. And that moment exposed me. It wasn't about me playing my usual emotional game anymore. It was about him showing me something I wasn't ready for. He wasn't buying into my performance. He wasn't fighting my emotion, he was exposing it. That's when I felt truly vulnerable. I suddenly felt naked, powerless, unsure of myself. And that's what the high-value man understands, that the key to taking control in these situations is not by reacting, but by mirroring. When you mirror a woman's emotions, you rob her of her weapon. You take away the emotional leverage she thinks she has. Most of those emotional outbursts, the silent treatments, the guilt trips, the tantrums, they're just performances. But when you reflect them back to her, you force her to look inward instead of outward. That's when the power shifts. That's when her weapon becomes self-reflection. And when a woman feels truly seen, when she's no longer able to manipulate the situation, she can't forget that moment. She'll replay it over and over in her mind, at night, wondering how you saw through her act. She'll begin to fear your perception of her because your clarity, your understanding of what's really going on, has become her mirror. And that's incredibly powerful. When you mirror, you don't argue, you don't defend, and you don't beg. You reflect. You make her question herself instead of questioning you. And that's why this technique is so lethal. It shifts the emotional burden back onto her shoulders. It turns her weapon inward. Imagine the impact this can have on a relationship. The high-value man who mirrors a woman's emotions instead of being dragged into her emotional roller coaster is a man who maintains control of his masculine energy. He doesn't let her tantrums or emotional outbursts dictate his behavior. He stays grounded and calm, and because of this, he naturally attracts women. His energy doesn't waver, it doesn't fold under pressure, and that's the kind of energy that is incredibly attractive. Women are drawn to this kind of strength because it's rare. It's the masculine energy that doesn't get shaken by her emotional storms. Instead of being pulled into her drama, the high value man stays clear and unmovable. This is the kind of man who can calmly and confidently handle any emotional situation without losing his composure. And this ability to mirror instead of react, to stand firm without being manipulated, is what makes him irresistible. So remember this. Don't absorb her emotions. Don't apologize when nothing is wrong. Don't react to her emotional drama. Instead, mirror it. Reflect it back to her. That's how you turn the tables. That's how you maintain control. And that's how you become a high-value man who knows how to attract women with his masculine energy, unstoppable, unshaken, and always in control. Women may try to manipulate, but when you understand the power of the mirror, you turn their emotional weapons into nothing more than self-reflection. And that, my friend, is what makes you truly dangerous in the best possible way. Phrase 10. The return test killer. Let me share a little secret, one of the dirtiest tricks in the female playbook. It's called the return test, and it's ruthless. When women pull away, go cold, disappear, or even ghost you, don't be fooled. We almost always come back. But here's where it gets tricky. When we return, we expect to walk right back into your life like royalty. We expect you to greet us with open arms, with relief, sympathy, and validation. We want you to act like we've been sorely missed. But here's the kicker. Most men fail this test miserably. They open the door wide, they hand over control, and they reward disrespect. Big mistake. The key to passing this test? The high-value man. The man who knows his worth and won't let anyone disrespect him. He doesn't roll out the red carpet when she returns. He doesn't give her the free pass to waltz back into his life without consequences. Instead, he looks her calmly in the eyes and says, "You don't get to come back the same way you left." Do you know how devastating that is for a woman? Trust me, it's a gut punch. The first time I heard it, my stomach dropped. I wasn't prepared for that. Suddenly, my return wasn't a victory, it was a trial. Instead of being rewarded for my departure, I had to earn my place again. And that, my friend, is exactly what the high-value man understands. He knows that you don't just get to leave and come back without paying the price. The psychology behind this is brutal, but it's powerful. Women crave consistency, yes, but more than that, we crave hierarchy. We want to know where we stand in relation to you. Are we moving up the ladder, or are we falling down? If you let us leave and return without making us earn our way back, we start to assume we've risen above you. But when you make it clear that every exit has consequences, everything changes. We can no longer take you for granted. We can no longer expect to be able to come and go freely. Suddenly, we're the ones chasing. We're the ones fearing that we'll lose rank, that we'll be left behind. This dynamic shift forces us to prove our loyalty, to show that we value you and that we won't take you for granted again. This is a prime example of how understanding female psychology can make all the difference. By not immediately welcoming her back with open arms, you're not being cruel, you're asserting your worth. You're showing her that you won't tolerate disrespect and that you won't let her walk all over you. You're showing her that there are consequences for her actions and that you're the one in control of the dynamic. And in doing so, you become even more attractive to her. It's the ultimate psychology trick, one that not only forces her to appreciate you more, but one that also shifts the power balance in your favor. So, next time a woman pulls away, goes distant, or ghosts you, don't panic. Don't chase. Don't beg. Instead, hold your ground. When she returns, you need to stand firm. Say something like, "You don't get to come back the same way you left." Make her realize that leaving and returning has consequences. This is how you take control of the relationship, how you turn the tables, and how you force her to prove her loyalty to you. The man who understands this dynamic, The high-value man who uses psychology tricks like this to his advantage becomes irresistible. Women are drawn to men who understand their own worth, who set boundaries, and who don't let themselves be taken for granted. And that, my friend, is how you pass the return test and come out on top. Phrase 11. The silence anchor. The moment you master the art of silence, you tap into a power few men understand and even fewer possess. In today's world, we're conditioned to explain, to justify, to argue, to offer endless answers for every question, to convince others of our worth and intentions. This mindset is rooted in a constant need for validation and the desire to control perceptions. But here's the secret: the more you explain, the more you lose. You lose your power. You lose your frame. You lose your dominance. Women, like all humans, seek control, psychologically, emotionally, intellectually. When they demand an explanation, it's rarely because they need clarity. It's because they want to dominate. It's a game, a manipulative tactic designed to keep you emotionally tied, to keep you uncertain, to make you spin in circles and keep you invested in their drama. The moment you refuse to explain yourself, however, the game changes. Your silence becomes your anchor. It unsettles them. The man who stands resolute in his silence, whose words are final, becomes an enigma, a mystery they can't crack. That man is terrifying because he's not swayed by emotional manipulation or petty demands for explanations. He walks away without a second glance, and it's that confidence that rattles her. I remember the time I pushed a man for an answer over and over, expecting him to cave in. But he simply stared at me and said, "I don't explain myself twice." In that moment, something shifted. My chest tightened because I knew, deep down, that if I didn't understand, that was my problem, not his. He wasn't going to fight for my understanding. He wasn't going to spin a web of words to make me feel safe. He was moving forward, with or without me. It was a moment of clarity. The real power doesn't come from explaining yourself, from justifying your actions, or from fishing for answers. The real power comes from standing firm in your own truth and holding your frame with absolute certainty. Women don't want an explanation, they want control. But when you refuse to give it, they scramble. They overthink. They replay your words over and over, wondering what you meant, why you said it that way, if you're really serious, or if you're pulling away. The more you remain silent, the more they chase answers. They crave clarity, and in that craving, they lose control. This is not just modern psychology. This is Old Stoic wisdom. It's the foundation of Stoicism, to remain unfazed, unmoved by external pressures, and to hold an iron mind. The more you silence yourself, the more your power grows. When you choose not to explain, you claim your space in the world. You stand as an unshakable force, and they can't help but chase your certainty. This is how you win. This is how you master life. The Stoics knew this. The great men of history knew this. And now you must know this too. You must learn to walk with unshakable confidence, to let your silence be the loudest voice in the room. Women are not driven by your explanations. They're driven by your strength, your decisiveness, and your refusal to be swayed. This is how you claim victory in your relationships, in your life, and in your own mind. That is the power of silence. That is the power of an iron mind. You must never forget. You don't need to explain yourself twice. Hey, thanks for sticking with me till the end. Now, here's the thing. Confidence is key, and it all comes down to understanding one simple truth. You don't have to chase anything or anyone. Real masculinity is about setting the frame and letting the world, including women, respond to it. So, when you speak, speak with authority. Don't seek validation. Create your own reality. That's when the real attraction happens. If you want to keep learning these secrets and start flipping the script in your favor, don't wait. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and make sure to subscribe. Trust me, the more you know, the more you'll have the power to shape your relationships and life the way you want. And remember, a man with a strong, unshakable frame? We don't forget that. So, take this advice to heart, stay consistent, and let your presence speak louder than any words ever could. See you in the next video.